Welcome to episode 12 of the Zeens and Roger Crochet podcast. I'm Rosina. Hello, how are you? You alright? It's all good here. I have managed to get my dates a bit mixed up though, so I am recording today when I said I wasn't going to record for ages, so hopefully it's a pleasant surprise and not one where you're going, oh, hope to get rid of you. Yeah, I thought I was actually on holiday this week and I'm not. I was completely wrong. That's happening later on down the line, and I thought that if I left it until after then, the next episode would be massive because I'd have to talk to you about not only what I'm doing now and what I've just finished and stuff, but what I did on my holiday and what and what crochet and stuff I'd managed to do. So I thought that would probably end up movie length, and I'd like to keep it under half an hour today if I can, and that way next episode won't be like chock full of loads of stuff. You can find me on Instagram, Ravelry. I've got a Ravelry group. If anybody who watches this podcast would like to come and join us over there, then that's cool. I post a lot of stuff about giveaways. You can chat about the episodes, chat about general crochet stuff and whatnot. So you can go over there. That's Ravelry. I'm on Pinterest. I've got a blog, Zeens and Roger at wordpress.com. And to be fair, if you were to type in Zeens and Roger into Google, I'm sure I'd pop up in all sorts of places. So yeah. That is that, gubbins. I'm gonna jump on to crochet news, and the first bit of news, it was not really news because I don't know if many people knew, but I've decided not to go to Yarndale. I have been toying with the idea for ages and I really would like to go, but I can't justify it because I am skint. If I had £100 or something to splurge, then I would probably find a way to go. But there's no way I can let myself spend any more money on yarn at the moment. So there is an element of sadness about that, because it would be a wonderful opportunity to go and meet loads of people, because I reckon there's going to be a few people I chat to on Instagram there and like fellow podcasters and stuff. But I mean, I'm down in Devon, that's up in Yorkshire. I reckon you're looking at a 5-hour drive for one thing, on my own. And the prospect of that does not sound fun in the slightest. But maybe next year I might sort of find some kind of clever way of getting there. But it's actually easier for me to go to Edinburgh, and which is why I went to the Edinburgh Yarn Festival this year. So that the IFE will probably end up being my only festival this year. But what a way to sort of begin my experience in yarn festivals, because that's my only one I've ever been to. Maybe if I'm canny, I can like do 2 next year, and it'll be Edinburgh Yarn Festival and Yarndale. Don't know. Those are the 2 ones I really fancy going. There are a couple of others, aren't there? But we shall see. I don't know what will happen next year. So anyway, that's enough talk about not doing stuff. My blanket will be at Yarndale, I hope. One of my blankets will hopefully be at Yarndale. I understand that the GA Rainbow C2C that I did for Inside Crochet Magazine, I'm hoping that that'll make an appearance. So if you see that, tell me, if you're going to Yarndale, that is. That'll be exciting. I'm excited that part of me is going, even if it's not the actual me. Crochet news item number 2. Somebody's just parked outside. I'll wait and see. It might not be for me, I don't know. Crochet item number 2, news item 2, sorry, sidetracked, is this month's issue of Simply Crochet. With this issue, which is issue 61, comes a little booklet of patterns, and this one is mine. I don't know. It just makes me very happy and very excited to see one of my patterns in print. I mean, I've told you before, I have had work published in a couple of magazines before, and each time it is still just as delightful and just as like and I cannot see that changing at any time soon. I will always be just over the moon about it and dead proud of myself, quite frankly. I think next week I'm in another magazine too, so I think it's next week. Fingers crossed, fingers crossed. I never like to say anything until I see it physically there, because I'm frightened that they'll sort of like go, oh no, we've got one extra pattern in the magazine and it won't fit, oh we'll just bin that one. So I'm always a bit frightened of saying anything until I absolutely 100% know for certain it's gonna get this, whatever pattern I've made is gonna get published. So I think I was working on this in April or May time, and usually when I'm working on a commission and I'm podcasting, I'll say, yeah, I'm working on something at the moment, I can't show you it, and I definitely did that for this, and it's very bizarre, but it did take up an awful lot of my thoughts during that time, and I was constantly worrying about structure and construction and all sorts of things. But to see it here, and for it to be so beautifully displayed and photographed, and so I should be keeping this one forever. And I like that my name is in print, and yeah, that's the pattern. And there are 2 other patterns in this booklet, and I believe they are all, it's probably a Drops sponsored booklet, because they've got a big Drops advert on the back. And I made mine out of Drops cotton merino, and I think the other ones are Drops cotton merino as well, so it must be like a sponsored thingy. There's another, mine's a wrap, there's a scarf here and a bag as well. It just says my actual name rather than my blogging name and stuff, but it's nice to see my name. I like it. So that's in the latest issue of Simply Crochet. This is my first time in Simply Crochet, and I always enjoyed reading this magazine and stuff, so it's funny because the first time I ever appeared in Simply Crochet was in the back bit. I wish I'd put a bookmark in it now, but you know the Troublemakers doodah. 2 years ago, I think around about 2 years ago when I first started blogging, I appeared in the Troublemakers section, you know, this Show Us Yours section, and I had a little raccoon and fox brooch that I'd made, and yeah, tagged them on Instagram, and I was in there, and that was at the time brilliant, quite frankly. Loved it, and I've kept that magazine and I've still got it, and that'll be my first, I mean actually it's not the very first time my name has appeared in a magazine, because actually I won Kylie's second album in Fast Forward magazine at some point, perhaps in '89, I don't know. That was the first time my name appeared in a magazine, and I've still got very fond memories of that. It was the question was, what, I don't know where this came from, the question was, what is Kylie's middle name? And the options, I wish I could remember, one of the options was Agnes, A, Agnes, B, Anne, C, Vera, I don't know. It's Anne. So I wish I did keep that magazine for a long time. I wonder what happened to it. Don't know. So anyway, I'm going to keep every single magazine I'm ever in and just be chuffed about it all. So, oh well, actually, do you want to see what else is in the magazine rather than just go, yeah, it's just my stuff. There's loads of fab stuff in there too. Oh, sorry, just flashed that. Terribly unclear. I was quite impressed with this one. If you can crochet, why not crochet a boom? A boom. A boom boom. And this, which I had to actually double take on because I couldn't quite, what is the crochet element in this picture? Because actually it looked like it was made of beads, such as the clever embroidery. So I thought they were good fun. And I don't know who they're by. There's like a whole theme, isn't there, at the front of every issue, and this theme is all like pop art style. But they're all different designers for the things. So I really like those. And there was something else I liked in here too. I think it's actually, I quite like this cardie. I'm not going to make it, but I liked it. I am going to make a jumper soon though, not a cardie. That Collect Heating one I'm always going on about, the colour block granny jumper. That has been bumped up to my list for September because I'm going to enter it into the back to school sweater crochet along that you can, so I haven't written this down, this is not a part of my notes. Faye from the Crochet Circle podcast has been talking about it, the back to school sweater crochet along, so any crochet garment or perhaps knitting, I'm not sure. There's a cowl that she's supporting but it's not run by her. Crafty Escapism. If you pop along to Faye's Ravelry group, I'll put a link in, I haven't got a pencil to write down to remind me. Faye's Ravelry group has the cowl info. But I'm going to do a granny jumper basically. I've got all my wool, I've talked about it before, I've swatched and everything, and I was going to start it a couple of weeks ago, but then I learnt about this cowl, and so I'm trying very hard to restrain myself from I just don't want to start it yet because otherwise it won't be eligible, and I think it will actually be quite good will spur me on, won't it, if I'm part of a cowl. Anyway, that's all my news for this episode. I don't think there's anything else unless something pops up in my head as I blather along. Did I say hello, my name is Rosina? That's me. Anyway, so moving on to works in progress. I hope I'm not blurry. I didn't focus when I started recording again. Was it 6 months ago that I said I was going to start the Weekend of Lackey? I have now started. I've done that much. It's not a great deal, I suppose. When you're doing it, it feels like you're doing loads, and then you sort of step back and you look at it and you go, oh, it's not as big as I thought it was going to be. I think probably at some point soon I need to work out where I want at least one edge to be and start and sort of straighten out an edge, so then I've got something to work with. At the moment I am sort of whacking the colours wherever I think they're going to look nice, trying to balance them out evenly so that you haven't got like too many dark colours in one bunch and too many bright colours in one area, trying to make it sort of balanced. But yeah, so it's just sort of going out everywhere at the minute. But if I say like choose, I mean that's all relatively straight at the minute, so I could do some half hexies down there, and that would become my sort of the beginning of a blanket shape then, and then I can sort of know that is the edge. I can't work out any more from there, and I'll have to start bringing it in. I don't know how big I want it to be. I think it just depends on how much yarn I've got. I'm using Stylecraft Life double knit. The difference between Life and Special is that Life has a little bit of wool in it. and it kind of looks, all the colours are more muted than special, and it does feel slightly different without being scratchy or anything. And no doubt it will be warmer as well, but from the from the point of view of working with it, it's pretty similar. It's just the colours are more muted, and they don't sort of match the special range particularly, not all of them, but some of them do have the same name. So yeah, the Weekend of Lackey. This is by Sandra from Cherry Heart, and it is a free pattern. And I think that when she designed it, it was intended as a sort of, well, a weekend blanket. She presumably worked on it at weekends when during the week she was doing other stuff. For me, I will sort of adopt a similar approach and do it as a picky uppy, putty downy sort of thing. And rather than sort of really go for it and try and get it finished, I'm just going to enjoy the process of it being an in-between project. So when I'm not working on something that has a deadline or whatever, I can enjoy something at a more rhythmic pace and just enjoy it being casual. Do you know what I mean? I think lots of us have got those sorts of projects, haven't we? So that's my first work in progress, and I think I'm going with blanket. I did wonder if I could just sort of make it into a cushion, but I wouldn't. It's not tight enough. I would have gone down like a hook size for a cushion, because at the moment it's quite sort of, I mean, it certainly will be once it's finished, have lots of, you know, drapey holes and whatnot. Or it would make a nice bag too. If you had a little shopper, little bag, project bag. Blanket. So that's, yeah, my first whip. No, that's not a whip, you go away. My second whip that I'm going to show, and actually I think I'm not going to show the other whips because they're horrible. I'm not happy. My second whip is this. I haven't got very far yet. There's no detail or exciting stuff happening yet. Well, all crochet is exciting, obviously, but this is just sort of a plain element of the 3 Springs shawl by Deanne of Addy Day Designs. I am really anxious to get this, I'm just desperate to get this finished because I can't wait to see it. I just want to sort of birth this thing because it's going to be glorious. I feel it in my bones. I mean, at the moment, why would I say that? Because I mean, it's just a piece of grey crochet. And I was toying with the idea of not showing the colours that I was going to use and just go, ha ha ha, you'll have to wait and see. But I'm just like so in love that I'm just gonna shout it from the rooftops and show you. So yeah, I'm at the stage now where I'm going to start doing some different things, some interesting things. It's not as the pattern it says to go to a certain row. I'm having to stop early because I've only got one skein of the main colour, and the pattern calls for 2, or at least 1.5, I'd imagine, just over 1.5, and I just don't have it. So I'm doing a bit of guesswork, stopping early and hoping for the best, and hoping that I'll have enough to finish the project, so that it's a reasonable size, a good size for wrapping around. I think it will be, because already, I mean, that's like a mini one, isn't it? Look, it does. I could have a miniature scarf, and it's nice to have lots of different sizes, because you don't want each shawl or scarf you make to be exactly the same size, because variation's good. So yeah, right. What's going to happen next? And if you've seen the 3 Springs shawl, you'll know is that the border is a ripple. A kind of ripple. I haven't printed off the pattern, I haven't got my phone up here either, so I can't actually show you the finished thing, but I will link to it. But needless to say, the ripples will be these beautiful, beautiful yarns. These, it was funny because I bought these at the Edinburgh Woolham, the Edinburgh Yarn Festival. That was in March, wasn't it? And I was going to make up something myself. These were going to be like a fabulous, one of my own designs. I say fabulous, who knows what it would turn out like. But no, these just, like, as soon as I saw the 3 springs, I was like, I want to do this. This is it. This is all the same. It's all by the same guy. Easy Knits, easyknits.co.uk. And it's all 75% superwash merino and 25% nylon. It's a 4-ply, ongoing weight, and they're all just scrummy. I love them. And I figured that if I ran out of the main colour, just the grey, I do actually have 2 of these. These ones are all mini skeins of like 20 grams or something. Yeah, 20 grams, 80 metres. And I thought that I would just sort of, on the last row of the, like this one, I would just sort of swap it for this, because I mean it's the most subtle of all of the contrast colours, and I think, you know, if I have to, I'll do that. And it will still look fab. So I am actually like dead excited about this one, and I can't wait to get it finished and stuff like that. So, but I don't know. Yeah, I mean it's sort of quite a contrast, really. It's you know, do you get that, like where you have ones where it's like, I'm happy to plod along with this one. This can be a nice sort of la la la, and then other projects where you just want to go full steam ahead. Can you hear my children? They sound like guinea pigs. They're giggling about something. I'll go downstairs and there'll be destruction everywhere. That's why I can't be that long. She says blathering on about wool for far longer than she thought. So those are my 2 works in progress. This one, hopefully, I'll be able to finish in the next couple of days. And then block it and be able to wear it. And then, for some strange reason, actually will the weather to get cold so I can showcase all the shawls that I make. So it's like just like glide in a sophisticated fashion down the road, obviously always sophisticated, with all my crochet things swishing about me. It's funny, isn't it? How just like sometimes I'll turn up, I don't know, you just do the school run and you don't put on horrible clothes and you just feel so dowdy. It might only take one thing, maybe a scarf or a shawl, and then automatically you're like, I look good. Who knows what somebody else might think, but it doesn't matter. It's what you feel about yourself. That's what matters. Don't give a stuff about anybody else. Anyway, so that is my work in progress number 2, and it is actually appropriately in a bag that my sister bought me for my birthday from the Edinburgh Yarn Festival. So that's it's special memories. But I'll talk about that in more detail next time, probably in a rather excited fashion. Finished objects, we should move on to finished jobbies. My first finished one, and I talked about this last week, but I deleted the whole thing because, oh boy, I just sounded like an advert, and went on for a very long time about it. So I will try my best not to sound like an advert this time round. Finished object number 1 is my summer love bag. And if you've seen the summer love bag or made it yourself, you'll know that mine looks different. And that's because, in all honesty, couldn't be bothered. It's all done in single crochet UK doubles, and I don't like it. I don't like the stitch. It's boring. It takes far too long. But the finished item is far from boring. I think it's quite nice. I like it. I will use it. But it's supposed to be much bigger. Like the orange section is probably supposed to come to about here, and then this bit's supposed to come to about here or so. But I think I got to a point where I'd been doing it, and you might sort of sit there for about half an hour, and then you look at it and you've done however many rows, and it just doesn't look like it's grown at all. And I sort of all of a sudden feel really bad about saying that, but I want to be honest. Yeah. I wish I'd brought a ball of the yarn up with me, but I didn't, because it's Tina tape yarn by Wool and the Gang, and the yarn itself is beautiful. Actually, it's I just like winding it around my fingers and pulling it and winding it, because it feels really cool and silky and lovely, and it's got a beautiful drape. And actually, this bag, I don't think is the. I mean, although it looks good and stuff like that, I think it would probably be more suited to garments and look really nice in garments. And I know they do have some patterns for the Tina tape yarn that look good. Yeah, I enjoyed the feel of the yarn, but not the project. But if you like something dead straightforward, and you're not fussed about how long something takes, then sure, go for it. It's the Summer Love bag by Wool and the Gang, and I don't know how they make it quite as nice as they do, because it's made from eucalyptus. That is the sort of the main selling point for this yarn, is that it's made from eucalyptus, which is like super sustainable and all of that. So yeah, and I don't know how they do it. I don't think you can buy the pattern. I think you have to buy the kit. But I'm not entirely sure that that's like true, or what I've just made up. I don't know. But anyway, Dusky Blue and Vitamin C, they go really nicely together. I like those colours a lot. I'm not 100% happy with this bag because I didn't use stitch markers either. I just sort of eyeballed where my increases should go, and therefore they're slightly off in places. I don't know if you can see. I don't really want to show it too much because you'll probably be able to see how wonky. Well, it's not wonky. It's just that you can see, like in some work, especially with actually double crochet, US single crochet. You can see increases, and when they're uniform you can really see them, which is why a lot of amigurumi stuff, sorry, massive tangent, why a lot of amigurumi stuff, you do stagger those increases on purpose, so you don't get the line of increases that you can see visually. So maybe I could argue that it's intentional and I just didn't want you to see that, but actually with this bag it probably would have been better. So without going, I'm conscious now because I watched it back, the last episode I did, and I was just like going on and on and on about it. I'm trying to be really kind of casual about it, and the reason is because I got the wool for free, and they were very nice about giving me the kit to test, and so I didn't want to sound like an advert just because they've given it to me for free, but neither do I want to do it in injustice because I like the yarn. I just didn't enjoy the project. Finished object number 1. If none of that made sense, then I might write a blog post about it so that my thoughts are more clear than that, without being, sharp things. Finished object number 2 is my shawl that I made and designed. Woo! Now I don't have the original up here because I didn't even think about it, but episode 4, it might actually be 4, and the reason it's so clear is because I'm sat in the same spot. I'm up in my bedroom again, and that was the first time I filmed in my bedroom. I don't like filming in here, it's too dark and it's uncomfortable. Anyway, the original blanket was done with the Araucania yarn, an alpaca yarn, which is super soft and lovely. I bought it in a shop in Bobby Tracy. Doesn't matter because I haven't got it here to show you. Shut up. But it incorporated the same stitches I've used here, and it kind of triggered a new idea, and that was to use, I think I only did sort of 3 repeats in the first shawl I did, and this one has 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. I wanted more detail, I wanted more of this, whereas the initial shawl I made had more plain UK trebles. And so yeah, I whacked in more of this, which I don't know, kind of reminds me of the canework stitch that I saw recently in a magazine, and I have seen on Pinterest before but never been able to find the instructions for. I think it was in a couple of issues ago of Simply Crochet, and they do a stitch of the month or something like that, and it was the canework stitch. I made up a swatch, but it's quite fiddly. This is a cheats version. I think once it's blocked, it looks very similar actually. And this is blocked. But pre-blocking it looked completely different, and I'm amazed. And it's because, excuse me, it's because I actually blocked properly. I washed this, and I went to the shops and I bought wool wash soapy stuff, especially. And had I known that actually blocking properly did such an amazing job. I know, okay. Of course it would. Like, rather than just like pinning it out and spraying it with water and then walking away. Which, okay, I mean, you can get some effective results, but this has just transformed it. Anyway, this is a massive shawl, but I like them big. It's drops baby merino, I think, and so the Viking yarns concrete and confetti that did seem to match quite well. I've used five. Did I use 5? I can't remember. Might have been 5, might have been 4, might have been, I don't know. What I haven't done is written up the pattern yet, and that's one of my next jobs. I'm going to write up the pattern and it will be for sale. But I am very pleased with this, and I might do variations. I might, like, because you could so easily make a smaller version of that, no problem at all. And I'm doing an experiment at the moment about different colour play with that. We shall see. So yes, that's my second finished object. Third finished object has been put in the post. And oh no, yeah, I have not got my rainbow edged granny anymore because that's gone to its owner. But if you want to learn more about that, which I've sort of, you would have seen me making it last time, and I was almost at the end, but hadn't quite finished. Well, I finished it, and I wrote a blog post about it, so I'll try and remember to put a link for that as well, so you can see more photographs of the rainbow edged granny square, which turned out beautifully actually. Really liked it. For some reason I was just like not gonna, well, it's just a granny blanket. Worked out beautifully. Before I go, I'm going to show you that I've been incredibly naughty. And actually I knew it was naughty, so naughty in fact that I sent my husband a text when he was at work going, "Can I spend some money please?" It's probably this is also the reason why I can't go to Yarndale, because I've bought this. So I even had to ask to say if it was alright, and he was just like, well, you're going to do it anyway, so why are you asking? Meh. I have bought some yarn. And it is gorgeous. I love it. So much so I don't actually want to make anything with it now. I just want to look at it all twisty and lovely. It's all by the same person. I can't remember her name, I'm really sorry. But it's Somerset Yarns. And it's all 75% superwash, blue-faced Leicester and 25% nylon this sock. 100 grams, it's 425 metres. And I just love how it feels. It's so much nicer than superwash merino. It feels more sort of substantial somehow, and yeah, and softer but sturdy. I don't know, don't know, but this one is Galactic. Boom. This one is Rave. This one, Poison Ivy. Pink Swirl. And Midnight Rave. And this one's a bit sort of fat and loppy now because I untwisted it because I wanted to have a perv. Oh, yummy, yummy, yummy. And I'm thinking, and I haven't decided which are gonna go with what, but I'm thinking 2 projects. One, I've got a picture in my head, and I've even drawn out sketches. I just need to work out how I'm going to get a certain swatch I've made, how I'm going to get that from being straight to having a triangle shape for a shawl. How am I going to do some increases here and at the ends? Chicken dance. And then I don't know, I honestly don't know. I'm thinking so I could have these 2 together, but is that too obvious? Or those 2 together? It could be, like literally, it could be any combination, but that's actually quite nice. For sure, 3 of them are going to be a triangle shape shawl. And the other, or maybe even I could do 4. Well, as you can see, I have not made up my mind, but something like that, you see, I think would look quite nice. It's funny because when I bought them, I was just like, I'm making this shawl that I've had in my head for ages, and then they arrive and you go, actually no, I want to make something else. We shall see, I don't know, but they are just glorious. And as I said, quite happy just perving at them at the minute. Excuse the ums. I thought I'd get out of the habit of all my umming when, by the time I got to episode 12, you would have thought I'd sort of been able to achieve the impossible and not anymore. No. There, I think pretty much I have talked about everything I intended to talk about. Actually, did I say that Deanne was doing a cowl for accessories? I don't know if I did. I'm going to enter my 3 Springs shawl into Deanne's accessories crochet along. I think it's open now, or opening very soon, and it's going to run through, certainly through to the end of September. But it's basically any one of her designs, Addy Day designs. Any of the accessories you can enter into the cowl. So I'm going to enter the 3 Springs shawl into her cowl. So what was that thing I was talking about earlier and I said I was going to link to? Can't remember. You want the Rainbow Granny Blanket link? And Somerset Yarns. Weekend of Lackey. Oh, I'll have a think. Maybe when I'll make notes when I watch it back. Duh, don't do it now. And then lastly, I forgot to mention this one, but if you've got beady eyes and you buy inside crochet, inside Crochet magazine, you'll have seen in issue 92 that I had a little picture in there too. It's my beach bag. They asked me about, I don't know, they said can they use the picture, one of my pictures for it, because they were talking about the Karen Cakes colour changey yarn, and so they've used my picture, but they've linked back to the Hobbycraft blog and not my own, which I knew they were going to do, but I'm gonna, just because I'm gonna put my beach bag link in the episode notes for this one. But it's in the news section of issue 92 with my bag. That's quite nice. Well, my battery's going to go. I must have been talking for far longer than I thought. I haven't got another charged one, so I better go. Thank you ever so much. Don't forget to thumbs up and subscribe, and I'll see you next time, which hopefully will be in 2 weeks' time. This one is an extra, isn't it? Because I didn't say I was going to do it this week. Thank you very much for all your nice comments and whatnot, and I will see you again soon. Thank you very much. Cheerio. Bye bye.